like the sun, we're fall in the ocean. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, 'cause we're only human. The ghost of our past is chasing, trying to stop us. The sound of our souls connected is nothing but one love. So don't give up tonight. Just keep living your life, afraid of being alone. Rise like the sun, we're fall in the ocean. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, 'cause we're only human. The ghost of our past is chasing, trying to stop us. The sound of our souls connected is nothing but one love. So don't give up tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. We are here with Season 10 and Round 1. Boogity, let's go racing on the green flag jobs.
Looking maybe even full wide.
They're fanning out, there's a bit of contact. He's got the outside.
Side. That's a great move.
He's got plenty of speed in there. He's being held up.
He's gonna have a better run. Yeah, it's gonna stick it on the outside.
Oh, that's a late move. 296 Ferrari though finds a space.
Oh, he didn't have it.
We're on the way for SRA.
The book of racing history is thick here at Watkins Glen International Speedway in New York. Tonight it plays host to SRA Round 8, the final round of our championship here for Season 11. We have D3 ahead of us here at this hollowed racetrack, and I'm excited. We have a couple battles brewing for the championship positions that we're going to keep track of tonight, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these D3 drivers take it on.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute amazing championship fight. It's just going to come down to the final race. Both in gold and the teams, actually less about teams, but both gold and silver drivers championship have a fight that is coming down to the final race of the season. I'm excited for it. How about you?
Should be a good time. The D3 is always putting on a show for us this entire season, and after 7 rounds, it's come down to this. Watkins Glen International Speedway. We'll take you through a quick run through the track. It's an old historic track that sort of follows the terrain here in upstate New York. Down the front stretch into the 90-degree turn for turn 1. You'll start going down the hill. You don't want to go too wide on the curbing, but you can use the maximum of it. Going into the S's, turn 3, turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4. It's pretty well flat out, but you sure don't want to go too wide through here. You'll want to set up your pass going through the end of Sector 1 into the bus stop. A really tricky corner. It's super high speed whenever you're doing a hot lap on low fuel and high grip. Unfortunately, that's not what these drivers get to experience as they'll be battling through this section as it's one of the key passing zones. Through turn 5, the outer loop, and into the famous boot. We have the chute, the toe, and the heel that make up the boot section. Turn 6, the chute. It's downhill. You have to be late on your brakes and clip the apex perfectly. Go a bit wide on the curbs to gain as much speed as possible. Into turn 7, that feels like it just goes on forever. The 180-degree corner is uphill, so you can use that to your advantage. Really tough to make a move down there, but you can set it up perfectly into Sector 3 for turn 8, the heel. A lot of runoff here, so if it does go wrong, you can still correct yourself, but another key passing opportunity. Into the uphill section, back onto the NASCAR portion of the track. Turn 9, really super tricky, almost a late apex because the way the bumps are on that corner, you have to get on the power late as not to go too wide to hit the wall. Really easy to pick up some damage there. Into turn 10, the penultimate corner, you'll want to set it up. It's pretty high speed. In these cars, it's just about a lift. Into turn 11, the final corner, there's a wall on the outside though. You can carry a lot of speed, but not too much. Otherwise, you'll be consistently picking up damage. A second here, a second there can sure add up after 60 minutes, and that's a full lap around Watkins Glen. We'll quickly. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, started by the way.
Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll touch on the team standings and championship battles to look into further on.
Yeah, there's no boring part on this track. The whole track is just super fun. It just flows. Every quarter I guess, it just fits in where it is. It's like nothing feels out of place. Not even the chicane, which, most tracks, chicanes just break apart the track.
Right. There's we were noticing last night, it's a lot of sort of medium to high speed quarters here. So without those big braking zones, I mean, we have turn 1. That's probably the biggest braking zone on the track. But even still, that's a third gear corner in most cars. It'll be hard to make a move done there. And otherwise, you're sort of following behind. We were seeing massive trains last night, just as people get used to the track. And these D3 drivers have put in a lot of practice in here, as we see Colton. He's one to keep track of, as he is your current silver championship leader. but it's there's not much in it between him and the person in second place. Colton's had a great season thus far in the Lexus, showing that any car can be competitive. But his main opponent there in the D3 championship for the silver championship is Michael Schwartz in the Mustang. These two drivers have been duking it out all season. And it's kind of crazy that after 7 rounds, it's come down to what is just 3 points between these drivers. Colton he's first in the leaderboards currently with a 45.2. That's a banker lap. But he's the first in the line too. So he's got clear open track and he's using it to his advantage.
Yeah, I was saying 44th in the practice. I definitely know that we're gonna see much faster than 45s.
Well, that's a good point too. These silver drivers, it's a fast track here at the beginning. We only have a handful of drivers actually out on the track, not a full grid, but a pretty decent turnout here for the last round of SRA here for season 11. That should mean that the track goes optimum. Unfortunately, not in time for these silver drivers, but just in time for the gold drivers to set their hot laps. These D3 silver drivers have the enviable position of trying to go fast around here with little to no grip. Cranston, though, going the fastest so far in that McLaren. These things are quick around here. High downforce. We talked about those medium to high speed corners. This car just hooks. It's a little tricky sometimes going through the tight stuff, as we see one of the trickiest parts of this corner of this track, the toe. As you see, it actually catches the Mustang out front, kind of off guard. I believe that was Recton. Nope, it wasn't. We'll come back to that. I think that was maybe Guzman in the Mustang, but he'll get back out in corner or back on track, and I don't think was getting in the way of Cranston too much there. We're halfway through the session now. With only 2 hot laps set, there's a few drivers already outperforming their current best. I'm looking at Cranston here. He's up 0.6 on his current best. Schwartz will go P1 provisionally, but I think this will move Cranston. Nope, just up into P2. 0.3 down from Schwartz, who is, as we noted, the current challenger for the Silver Championship. Colton with some time to make up in his next couple laps. Jimmy Aaron gets super close to the outside wall there. That's the final quarter. That wall can sneak up on you quick with that safer barrier there for NASCAR, but for GT3 series, it just means the wall is that much further out. He'll set a solid time. He'll go P8, right? Just eclipsing his counterpart there, the other Jay Yarin in P9. So that's a pretty decent lap from them. Still getting their bankers out the way. Pat Cockcroft actually comes into the pits. Maybe some strategy there as he set his fast lap already with the 45.2. The tires do get a bit overworked, especially towards the end of this qualifying session even. That could be a strategy to play tonight. It'd be bold, but obviously with the track being the most optimum at the very last part of the session, it's ever evolving, and you'll want the best tires for the final lap, your final go at setting a hot lap. Schwartz, I think Schwartz is just actually taking it a bit easy, maybe trying to keep some more time or more grip in those tires. Cranston's
Fire is gonna be a huge factor in the race for sure, like you said, because Watkins Glen, it's a fast track, but some corners like the outer loop, they're just gonna destroy your left side tires, especially the fronts. It
kills them. The outer loop, it's so high speed, and you're just sitting there grinding those front tires to a pulp, especially in some of these big front engine cars. They don't like to turn in too well, especially coming out of the bus stop there. You're pretty much off throttle in most cars, especially those higher horsepower Mustangs and BMWs. You do have to lift a little bit, but those front tires are gonna be screaming, especially in this scenario with the light fuel.
Yeah, what I found interesting so far in the qualifying is that Colton's one of the slowest drivers through. Out of the top 3, he's the slowest sector 1. But his sector 2 and 3 are faster, are on par with Schwartz's. Normally, you'd expect Alexis to be the fastest in the first sector. So, but then again, Colton is on a green lap. He is improving, but I don't know if it's enough to take the provisional pole away from Schwartz.
Colton's coming through the final 2 corners here. He's in that Lexus. You can see he's all over the curbs there. I think he even locked up a little, using every bit of the track. That is the preferred line around here, but you have to skirt just the fine edge of the track limits. Colton will brush the wall. I don't think that'll make him lose too much time. He's up on his time currently. No, he's not. He actually stays P3, so lost a bit of time in those final 2 corners. He'll have to claw that one back with only 1 lap to go. Sweeney, he's going to come across the line. He'll move up to P4, but there is an almighty battle for track position there in front of him. Oh, actually, as we see the Mustang just loop it into turn 1, that'll be the end of his qualifying session. Nick Andrew will take that, and celebrate, because now he's got a clean track ahead of him. He's actually currently up at his time, so it'll be cool to see what he does with that.
We also have one of the Yarn brothers in P10. He is actually on a flyer right now. I think Jeremy Yarn, as he comes across the line to put him up to P8.
That's a solid lap from him when it matters most. He'll have one more attempt to get that done, but unbelievable lap. Just about to break the 44s. Not too far for that, so we'll look to see if he can't do that here in his final attempt. The other Yarin brother is all over the curbs in the bus stop. That is the preferred line. Too much on the inside, though. You'll find the hidden bump there, and that'll send you right off the track. He navigates it perfectly into the shoe.
The 488 is super scary on the bus stops. I have bad experiences with the car in those set of corners. But Yarn brothers are doing really well right now. Sure, it's much less scarier now than before, but it's still a handful in this track.
Tell you what, Shorts is currently our provisional pole, and it looks to be one of the few actually improving on his last lap here. Oh, he actually just loses a bit of time there, so I spoke too soon. I think he should still be good enough, as Cranston and Colton, the 2 challengers there in P2 and P3, have already completed their lap and are back in the pits. We'll keep an eye on Guzman, though, who is on the final corner. He goes a bit wide on it. He does manage to keep it out of the wall, though. He was up massively on his time, as he still is 7/10 up. That'll move him up to P11, founding some pace right when it matters most towards the end here. Yarn will come across the line. He'll finish P6, and it does look like Shorts invalidated at some point during his lap. Probably just got a bit wide out of the heel there, and that'll be it for his qualifying session. He's going to come back into the pits, but will still keep provisional pole and then pole for the silver division. That was a huge result for him, especially for the battle for the silver championship. Colton down in P3's got some work to do if he wants to keep this. With only three points separating them, it's still all to play for.
Goriel isn't in the race server. I just noticed.
Goriel, he's our current P3 in overall in the championship. That's
P3? I swear he's P2.
Oh, is he P2? I tell you what, I'm not looking with the drop race. You're absolutely right.
Actually, no. Andre Velasquez has actually taken P2 away from him last race.
Oh, there you go.
Simon Goriel was 4 points away from taking the championship lead going into Dakota, and he had a bad race at Dakota. It just pushed him down to P3. In fact, it's actually Velasquez who can Andre Velasquez who can actually win the championship if he finishes better than David Funk. So, yeah, that
is our other championship battle. Keep an eye out on David Funk, who has had an almighty season, winning the first race and then the round 7, our last race there at Coda, looking to be the bookends of the season here if he can get it done tonight. Looking in a pretty good position already in that Porsche. He's up 63 points, I believe, on Velasquez there. So not out of the picture with 26 drivers. There is still a chance if Funk has just an atrocious race. I don't wish that upon anyone. and Velasquez has an almighty race. There's a chance. I believe the 60-point differential, if Velasquez finished first, that would have to be Funk at minimum has to finish 13th. So that's what he's aiming for, 13th or better. That should keep him in the lead. Funk's been fast all season though, so I wouldn't put it past him to go out here and set some blazing lap times in qualifying and to still get a good result here tonight. He comes around the last corner to set his banker.
I think Watkins Glen is a track where anything can happen, so if I'm Velasquez, I really wouldn't throw my cards away yet.
Absolutely.
David Funk actually finishes his lap and he immediately returns to the pits.
So he gets that banker lap in, which is pretty quick, all things considered, a 44.9. Not where he wants to be, though. Maybe figuring out he got the tire pressures wrong or something. He goes immediately back to pits. He's only got just under 6 seconds left to get back out there. He'll have to maybe lighten the fuel load and go back at it with the fresh set of tires. The track should now be at optimum temperature or optimum track conditions at this point in the session. So if there's time to be gained, it would be right now, as we're seeing Nick Suave coming through. He's up 5/10 on his banker lap.
Yeah, Nico Suave is on route to take provisional pole. He's 6/10 up on his personal best. But then again, he's only half of the track in, half the lap in.
Not doing too bad already. If he can manage to keep this going, he'll be on for contending provisional pole. Tell you what, who else is on a flyer? Mr. Laz. He's right behind him and showing that Mustang's got pace around here.
Yeah, he is Schwartz's teammate, and he is on the flyer right now.
Oh, he gets a bit loose on the curbing there. Keeps it underneath him, though.
Curse another person.
Yeah, I think we are the commentator's curse, because he was up almost 9/10 and now he's lost a bit of time in the sector 2. Coming through the final corners.
I think Nico Suave's got provisional pole right now, or actually no, he's just missed out.
Just
on
about.
Provisional pole. What about John Lass? We would go provisional pole with that absolute flyer.
Just about too. It's close. Suave was within 10 1,000ths of a second for provisional pole. He's gonna know where he messed up and has that 1/100th of a second left in it. Watch out for him for sure. Sullivan will come across the line. He'll go P2, splitting the difference between Suave and Schwartz with the exact same time actually as Schwartz. Unbelievable. We've seen it before this season. Sullivan, not to be outdone, will go the exact same time as the current pole leader.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
The top 4 cars. Seems to be a strong track for the Mustangs.
There's a lot of flat out portions of this track. They're on one of them now, the backstretch, but also one of the trickier spots at the bus stop. He monsters over the curbs. The Mustang just soaks him up like they're nothing, as we see the tires and the suspension soaking all that up. He's just coasting around this final, or this outer loop section. We'll pop on board with him, see how he handles the boot. Just gingerly turns in. Gets it pointed where he needs it to go, just on the curve. That's well done. He's actually up on his time now. If he can bank this one, it'll be perfect. He's on the brakes early, gets slowed down, and actually goes a bit wide. This is probably one of the biggest struggle spots, is you try to get the power down. The track falls away from you, and it just skids out from underneath you. He is late on the brakes at the 150 marker, but he gets it slowed down in time. Goes all over the curves on the outside. He keeps it valid. Suave actually up ahead in the other Mustang. He'll go provisional pole by almost 3/10 of a second.
Yeah, he's working the car hard, but that's not a lot of places where the Mustang actually struggles on this racetrack.
He's all over the curbs. He's got one corner to go. He's got the time if he just keep it together. He keeps it out of the wall. Lost a little bit in the final corner. Maybe a bit too passive as he puts the power down. It's good enough for P2.
Yeah, it is super close. Oh, we just have a confirmation from Simon Goriot. He just DC'd last race. That's what happened. That's what pushed him down the standings. That was super unfortunate. But I think that happened when I was not watching. So yeah, I think I missed out on that.
Yeah. Thanks for streaming again. It was You went through it. The SRA and ACC lords gave you all you could handle for sure. Managed to get it by the end of it so we could watch the final concluding minutes of that race. But yeah, Coda was an interesting one as it was supposed to be wet and then it ended up being dry the entire for quali and race.
I missed out on a lot of it. We missed out on a lot of amazing battles at Coda. Just fights going on from start of a race down to the finishing line. It was a kind of crazy race, and it's kind of insane that we got no penalties out of that race.
Yeah, we saw a myriad of penalties follow the drivers in the other divisions. Every single other division just had a full, pretty much, target receipt full of penalties. But D3, the only division, probably the entire season, that's been able to keep it clean throughout the entire race with no penalties assigned.
Suave extends his lead. He's now set up 53.95.
We have 1 minute to go. Suave will as you say, keep his pole. Funk comes across the final corner. I was watching him because he's our championship leader. At this current pace, he's just nowhere close to leaders. He'll improve a little bit, go up to P8.
Another person to keep the eye on is Ethan Marvin in P3. We haven't seen him much in all season, and he's in P3 right now, and he is going fast. He's a whole tenth up on his personal best. Not enough for provisional pole or improving his positions, but it is a really good lap from him, and it'll just extend the gap from Schwartz.
Oh, he picks up a ton of time in the final corner. That's where he was missing it. Now it's good enough for pole. Breaking into the 43s at the 43.905. Good time from him.
2/10 on the final corner. That is insane.
It's good to know that when you have that in your pocket, if you can keep it together the whole lap, to know that the final quarter, if you nail it, you're good enough for pole, as he does keep it. It's going to be tough to beat, as the only other driver really improving is nowhere close to Marvin. I think he's going to be a shoo-in for the pole, as time has expired in this session.
David Funk is 2/10 up in his personal best. Going 2/10 faster would put him on the second row of the pack. So it is super close between the top 8, amongst the top 8. So it's gonna be interesting to see what times the drivers pull out in the final part of the track, as everyone's on their final lap.
Oh, Velasquez, he was up on his time and he just invalidates it going to the penultimate corner. So he'll keep his P6 if no one else improves, though. But Funk, tell you what, he's going to show not to be outdone here. He's up 4/10 now on the final lap. It's good enough for P3, which crucially gets him above Velasquez there, who falls to P7 in this session.
Yeah, I was expecting a Mustang 1-3, but we have a good mix of cars, and we got a Ferrari on pole. We haven't seen that since Barcelona. I
didn't think the Ferrari was all that good here, but Marvin, not to be outdone, showing that it's got incredible pace at the 43.9. So our current last driver out as he comes across the line won't improve, but we'll keep the provisional pole. As there you have it. That's our current leaderboard. I think standout there is Schwartz, who is fighting for that silver championship. With his incredible quali pace, is able to put quite a few drivers between him and Colton. Colton falls to P11 in the standings for qualifying, and that will mean he's got some ground to make up throughout the race. We talked about it before. Let's go ahead and show you the points and show you just how they're shaping up after 7 rounds. So David Funk in the Porsche, our current leader. He's qualifying right up the field there, puts that final lap in. He'll go P3 for the race. That puts him in a decent spot for wrapping up this championship. As Velasquez, he's P7 throughout this race. So there's your battle there for your gold division. And then P5 and 6, that's our silver division battle. Only 3 points separating Colton in the Lexus and Schwartz in the Mustang. But crucially on track, Colton down to 11 and Schwartz up to P5, the current silver leader as they start this race. At the current, if it were to end right now, which obviously we have a long hour ahead of us, that would give Schwartz the win, obviously. So there's not going to be much to play for as you get towards the top of this leaderboard. These drivers are going to be fast. Those positions are going to be hard to make up for Colton. Hopefully use some undercut strategies to get close to him throughout the race. We'll go to the second page here, showing you the drivers, this grueling season that there was a bit of attrition. If you remember this calendar, it was Spa and then the Nürburgring and then Wet Coda. Not for the faint of heart out here for SRA season 11. Shows that it's only the toughest sticking out to the end here. The team championships also has a battle as David Funk looking to wrap up both championships here tonight. He has a 136 point lead over the BMWs of Simon Goriel and Chris Logain. Logain had a pretty solid result last time out at Coda, but unfortunately with Goriel missing this race, I think that will give the outright team championship to David Funk and Kamal Kajcevic. So after 8 rounds, at least David Funk knows that he can probably go home and with that championship, and knows that he has a shoey up ahead of him. But if all goes well, maybe he can get another championship in the drivers. Locking out both championships would be huge for him. Our first Pro-Am, I think we want to point out, is Schwartz and Laz, and those Mustangs gold and silver drivers, showing that they got an incredible amount of pace, P3 overall, and then our first silver team, Reno 992, and the Porsche with Josh Gush and Austin Red. Not for outright, championships per se, but still honorable mentions there, as showing that they put together a complete season. It's tight between P3, P4, and even P5. It's one bad race or one good race here tonight. We'll show these drivers, different spots when it comes to all to end here tonight. The drivers are now out on their their out lap, so we'll tune into that.
Yeah, it's gonna the battles we're seeing now is gonna be mostly for the drivers' championship and the smaller. Well, not for the lead of the team championship, but every point counts, even down to the last race. You get 110 points for winning, so the whole championship could just literally flip on this table with one incident.
Yeah, and
eyes.
It's easy to do here, right? We've seen some almighty calamities happen here through the S's at Watkins on lap 1, even through the bus stop. It's not easy to keep all 20 some odd cars pointing straight when when everyone's so tightly packed together. So if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be D3. I think they have the best shot of anyone to keep it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, it's Watkins Glen. Anything can happen here. We had a whole copy pasta come out of this track. So but then again, every driver in the final race of the season, it's going to be all or nothing. That's going to be one thing, but they're also going to be trying to bring it home, just solidify whatever points they have. Especially the Porsche team, who has one driver starting on P3, the other starting in P6. So, yeah, I think you're going to see most of the incidents happen, if you're going to see anything happen at the S's and the bus stop. So I wonder how many drivers are aware of this. How many of them are going to try taking it easy going into those corners? Because going flat is one thing. Going too wide into the S's and the bus stop is a whole nother ballpark.
Yeah, no joke. It's not for the faint of heart. Respectful driving is necessary to make it around here clean from all parties. We saw, I think, last night in the D4 was that the leader coming out of the turn 1 ended up being last through the bus stop just because of being compromised through it and then getting wrapped up in some of the collisions. So even if you're in the lead doesn't mean you're safe around here, as you can get an almighty draft going down the backstretch.
Yeah, I remember doing a wet start here, and I think my car was rolled upside down because of the carnage.
Oh,
just
man.
Bomb from the back. But anyways, drivers are approaching the penultimate corner of this track.
They're lining up 2 by 2 all the way down the grid. Final drivers just getting to the back of the grid now. Got 2 long corners to think about how they're going to get this start going. Marvin's come to an absolute crawl. Maybe outpacing his indicator there. Seems like we're in slow motion right now. I don't know what's going on.
I think he went too far.
Hopefully they can keep it clean for the start. It's going to bunch everyone up. It's going to be chaotic. That's not what you want to see in Watkins Glen. I think they finally get to go in 2 by 2 now.
Suave seems to be just ahead of Marvin as they are about to go green.
Luckily no drive-throughs, but Marvin will be compromised as Suave goes mega defensive. That's going to open the door for Funk on the inside. They go 3 by 3 with Sullivan in the middle. Funk gets in the back of Marvin. That's Funk backwards, our current championship leader. And Marvin are currently backwards. Looks like they get pointed back, go in the right direction, but that was huge for the championship. That's going to put Funk all the way back down the field. He's currently last.
Changes things.
We called it. Funk's now got an incredible task ahead of him. We know he's got to finish at least top 13 if Velasquez has a decent result. Velasquez, through all of that, he'll gain a couple positions. He's up now to P5. So just like that, it can go from it looking all into your favor to giving you an almighty battle. As Byron, we see him spinning off on the buses. Looks like maybe he got onto the curbs. As there's another driver actually off there too. Oh, that's Yaron, one of the Yaron brothers. Oh man, it's all popping off here.
I was just saying, all David Funk needs to do is just bring it home. What he does, tries to send it 3 wide down to turn 1.
Easier said than done. They will.
Then again, and Byron's in the grass. That's in the outer loop. Did he get tagged as he exited the bus stop, or did he just had a weird bounce and just send him wide? That seems to be another car stop. Oh, it's Jeremy Yarn. What happened here?
The other Yarn.
I was watching the wrong stream.
Oh.
Yeah.
That checks out. Okay, yeah. That was the collision we saw through the bus stop. So Yaron and Byron gets the worst of that. They will go all single file now as they all find their spot. Cranston a bit compromised to the final corner. That's going to open the door for the Ferrari to make a move. I think that's Marvin in the back. He goes 2 wide with Sweeney. He dives on the inside. He's going to get it down. It's actually a bit of lag, a bit of net code. Oh, no! Through the net code, he'll take out the Mustang of Guzman.
I wonder what that's going to look like.
It looked... Oh, my God. Marvin's really going through it, through the S's. Literally through the ground. On his screen, it looks just fine. But for everyone else, it looks like he's all over the place. It's going to be tough to try to battle. Yes, we can... Oh, we can't even watch him. This is chaos. As the Porsche makes the move on the inside... Is it just me? I don't know what's happening. Everything's popping off here. Marvin, he's got high ping, so it might not just be me, but he'll get the move done on the Mustang, which is now... Oh, no, there's the Mustang. Okay, I'm not sure. I think that's Moffitt there in the Mustang who falls down the grid. Okay.
That was super weird. Just
super strange.
There. Also, what's interesting is that Schwartz is now in P3 and Colton's on P8. So they're both carving through the field. I think Schwartz is able to capitalize on the incident between Marvin and Funk.
Colton was able to do what he needs to, but unfortunately for him, so was Schwartz. Schwartz currently is on for one of the best results that he's had, which has been 2 P3s in a row. So if... Currently, if you're gonna peak, now's the time.
If you have a Mustang 1, 2, 3, Mustang lockout here.
They are quick around here. Schwartz actually has the fastest lap, so even mired back in traffic there, was able to find lap time where it counts. He's right up the back of Sullivan in front of him.
Yeah, he's not done. He's gonna try going further in. Remember, it's only 4 points separating Colton and Schwartz. It's just a matter of who finishes ahead of the other.
So Moffitt battling with Marvin there, our pole sitter. We'll just dive on the inside. Moffitt backs out of it. That's a smart move this early in the race. They'll keep it pointing the right direction. Oh, there's Maxwell in the wall.
Colton.
Was that Colton?
Maxwell. It was Colton and Maxwell.
No, he has tons of damage. Well, we got to go back and watch that. maybe back a bit too far. We'll see this all set up as they go down the backstretch. These two got together, so that leads me to believe that it was probably through the bus stop here. Maxwell he just slows way down.
Oh, I think he just got a bit out of shape and just tried to slow his car down, and Colton had no time to react there.
Nowhere to go. No way. Just like that, it goes from bad to worse. Colton will fall down to P15. Shorts up to P3, having the race of his season right now. Colton having one to forget when it all matters most. He's going to have a ton of damage. It's too early to pit, surely, but you can't just trottle around with that level of damage the entire time. Marvin will go back in the pits. Let's see what happens to him. As we see a Bentley out back. Oh, looks like as he reconnects the Porsche, he gets on the Porsche's bumper and just kind of pits himself, not intentionally, of course, because he didn't know the Porsche was there. Neither did the Porsche know he was there.
Our pole sitter is having lag issues, internet issues right now. Is that maybe a reason why the incident at start happened? Is it because of lag, or I don't know?
Yeah, something's going on there. We see Marvin in the pits, Colton in the pits, Maxwell in the pits, Yard in the pits. These are all the drivers that had some damage. The Bentley in the pits. So even though it's early, it's going to be a long 53 minutes to, take these tires. Current pit strategy, of course, is to pit halfway pretty much for fresh tires, no fuel.
Yeah, I wonder if the damage is going to be enough for Colton to actually get lapped by Schwartz as he exits the pits.
Oh, that would be huge.
See, if he comes out lapped, then he's not going to make much progress. He's just going to get stuck behind cars that are a lap ahead of him.
Surely.
So, but I think he has enough time, but
he's had a lot of damage. He have to change tires. It's about a minute long pit stop traditionally with changing tires and going through the pit. He'll probably have, another 30 seconds of damage too. So my math has that being right on the edge of being a back marker when he comes out of the pits. Curious to see where he comes out. Short onto the front stretch now. Colton still in the pits. He's got the front pit stop, but that's not going to be enough as Short will go right by him. And just like that, Colton goes a lap down.
He started rolling as well, so he just came out in the lap traffic.
Yeah, he's going to rejoin the track. Maxwell's ahead of him. He'll have nightmares of that Porsche slowing down again, as that's now what he sees in his windshield. I hate to say it, that might be all she wrote for the Silver Championship, unfortunately, this early on in the race. But who knows? Watkins Glen is a tricky track. Shorts now just has to keep it clean for 52 minutes, and he'll have it wrapped up pretty well. No risk. This is not the time, Shorts. Just bring it home.
Yeah. Well, coincidentally, both Maxwell and Colton actually came out behind Schwartz's teammate, John Laz. But Schwartz is not done.
They will have...
He's on the bumper of... Actually, no. Sorry. Kashovic, is that how...
Yeah.
You did tell me how to pronounce it. I immediately forgot about Kashovic. He is on the bumper of Schwartz.
Is there our gold drivers looking to put the silver driver where he belongs, behind him? But Shorts, no small feat for them, as he's a competitor at heart, and he'll keep the P3 position for now. Kajtovic is looking for any opportunity. He's just 3/10 behind him as they go across the lap. I go across the stripe. Laz has Maxwell on his rear end, but Maxwell just came into the pit, so he's a lap down. With that fresher tires, you can pass as long as you can pass maybe a lead lap car, as long as you can get a second ahead of them. You don't have to give way, but that's not what Laz is gonna want.
Yeah, especially now, like the biggest, the part where the Mustang has the advantage is Sector 1, and Maxwell's not going to get past him in Sector 1.
Yeah, not in that
He also-
Porsche.
If he does get past him on the other parts of the track, he's not gonna have enough time to make up the second distance over Laz. So he's just kind of stuck behind him. In fact, I wonder if Colton's actually gonna use that to try pulling back a bit more positions when he's right behind him. But he's also probably getting blue flag right now by Panzer Rigatoni.
Yeah. It's not where you want to be around here. I think you saw Yarn with the drive-through. Surely that's not from track limits already. It's only 10 minutes into the race, but he does serve it, and that will put him 2 laps down. I guess it has to be unless he was speeding in pits, but unfortunate for him.
That's super unfortunate. This track is kind of difficult when it comes to track limits, especially in the penultimate corner. Just because it's already pretty flat, and it's just so easy to just run a little bit wide while still being flat out and getting the penalty track limit. So is turn 1 here. Just run as wide as the curb can go.
Yeah. There's time to be gained out there as you keep your speed up. Kachtovic a bit compromised on middle of the corner there as he gains all the time up on entry. Can't get the power down because the Mustang in front of him, and the Mustang just powers away through the S's.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, you hate to see it. That Porsche is quick around here. I had a good time last night, but it is on edge, especially through some sectors like this bus stop and through the boot. So that's where the time is to be gained in it, but you have to be on the limit to make it work. And that's Cranston off in the bus stop early on before we can get through the first corner. Let's see what happens here. It looks like Moffat's going for a move on the inside. We've seen this not play out well in the past. Looks like Moffat goes too far into the curbs. We'll go inside the second part of the bus stop, which Cranston's just there to catch him. Cranston will RTG, and that will be the end of his night, more than likely. That's going to be an interesting one for the stewards, I got to say. We can't make any judgments here, but Moffat, unfortunately, just misjudged that move. We'll pick up some damage, but we'll get the position as well.
So, if I'm correct, Ford gets 85 points, and actually Velasquez was he 5th? 5th gets 80 points, and David Funk, who's in P14, gets 48 points. That's enough. That's not enough to win the championship, is it?
No, it wouldn't be.
The gap is 63 points. So Velasquez needs to get more positions if he wants a better shot at winning the championship.
Yeah, it's currently on the edge. Funk is P14, so he's right on the cusp of making the strategy work, even with that terrible first lap.
So the championship fight for D3 Gold isn't over yet. In fact, it's just gotten a lot more intense as the drivers who just want to make as many places as possible, just to keep their championship hopes alive.
Right. Funk actually has a bit of damage too, so he's being able to make up his way back through the grid, even with this compromised Porsche now.
But he's not really gaining too much time over the cars ahead.
No, he's not. He's going to have to rely on strategy to make some of these moves. Kachtovic is going to be wishing this halftime early pit might come a bit sooner than what it is, because he's been stuck right behind Shorts for the last couple laps. His Shorts is actually drove in right up behind the back of Sullivan as Suave's just pulled away.
Velasquez is also closing in. He's within a second off Kachtovic right now. So
not out of the question for Velasquez to pit early and get that undercut. It is pretty strong around here.
I wonder if Kachtovic is going to try his best to hold Velasquez behind so his teammate can win the championship. Because right now it's a battle for the Drivers' Championship now.
Yeah, if I was Funk, I'd be pleading with Kachtovic there to employ any sort of strategy he can to keep Velasquez behind him. It's not easy. Those McLarens are fast. They seem to be able to get their run down the backstretch a lot easier than the Porsche. So you see the Porsche just struggling. Mustang pulls away from them. It seems to be that's the trend. The Porsche will get it right back to the Mustang into turn 1 through pretty much the rest of the lap, except through the S's. The Mustang just able to pull away. So, yeah, I don't envy that Kamal's position there. Colton will come into the pits again actually now. So it's the second time in the pits. Maybe didn't get his service done initially.
I think he's called it. His timer is green. I think he's just calling it.
Oh no, Colton cutting his losses there. This is Curtis Lee trying to make a move on the outside of going into the bus stop. Thinks better of it as Funk will grab that position. Crucially for Funk, that moves him up to P13. That should mean he still has the championship done, but it's still a long race ahead of him. Velasquez could make some moves and Funk could have some more issues, but a good recovery drive from Funk now. It's all about just making, doing the minimum necessary here for 7 rounds for it all to come down to one race. This is what you want to see for an entertainment perspective, but Funk's got to be sweating for sure. So we see Kamal right up the back of Schwartz now, again through turn 1. Jump on board with him. Through the S's as the Mustang just falls out of sight. Actually, Russell Allen is backwards through the boot. We gotta find him. He's just off in the grass, just chilling. Wonder what happened to him. Let's see if we catch it. He's coming out of the outer loop. He's right up the back. I think that's Rigatoni ahead of him. Or Byron, depends on...
I think it's Byron.
I mean, he's doing well so far. Oh, didn't quite catch it, actually. Misjudged that one. My bad. It looks like Russell Allen is still there off in the grass. Just decided to set up shop, set up a picnic, actually. We can see, from his point of view, the other racers drive by. Just taking in the sights and sounds of Watkins Glen.
Colton's still in the pits. I think he's calling it.
Man, so just like that, Colton goes from the current leader of the Silver Championship to, I mean, at most, he won't even complete. Oh, actually, that's a Bentley off. Who was that Bentley? Was that Watts? No, that was Curtis Lee again, having some more issues. Let's see what happens here. We'll get tagged, actually, from... I believe that was Guzman in the Mustang, and that'll send Lee into the wall. So unfortunate for that Bentley. Oh, man. Well, back to Cranston. If he doesn't finish now, I mean, you don't get any points. So he'll end up with, gosh.
Does he even have a drop round?
Yeah. No, he doesn't. So he'll go from 409 points to 409 points. I think that means he should at minimum still be able to keep 4th place as Andrews 109 points behind him. Or the 110 points maximum, that should be good enough. But Austin Red, is he driving tonight? No, he's not actually. So Red not driving. Colton will still get P3.
Michael Schwartz does not have a drop race with him. Like, if he finishes his race, his worst race is going to get dropped, which means he's still going to win the championship. But I wonder how far Colton's going to fall, because even Austin Red does not have a drop race, and Nate Andrews' drop race is only 4 points.
Right.
So, if I'm correct, Colton might keep P2 in the standings, for silver at least.
Well, it's a bit of a consolation prize for this unfortunate race here tonight, as he was leading the championship, I think, for the last couple of weeks, and just with 1 round to go at Watkins, proving too much to handle for him, unfortunately.
So Velasquez is written half a second behind Kashevic.
Yeah, Velasquez is all up the back of him. Now with only 40 minutes to go, this sort of opens up the undercut pit window for the very daring. You know, it means you have a long 40 minutes ahead of you, but it's not impossible. Speaking of possible. It looks like Kectovic is right up the back of Schwartz again. We'll hop on board. That Mustang is just impenetrable or an immovable object, and Kectovic is an unstoppable force, trying to find a move anywhere necessary. He's closer than he ever has been through the S's, but even with the toe of the Mustang in front of him parting the air, there's just no way around him.
I think the tie wear is starting to get the Mustangs now, because the Porsche, like I said, most of the tie wear comes from the outer loop. And the Porsche doesn't scrub most of its fronts, and even if it did, it's kind of balanced out the tie wear. But the Mustangs, they have a lot of front end wear, so I think the tie wear is starting to get the Mustangs now.
Yeah, you can see it just there through the outer loop as the Mustang had to go all the way out to the exit curbs, where the Porsche was able to keep a tidier line, showing you the prowess of that Porsche rear engine, able to keep its front tires in check. It's just a different line from Kectovic, honestly. He's has a different way of going around Watkins Glen here tonight than the Mustang in front of him. More about just handling and keeping the car underneath him, as he's not really extending the corners to the outer extremities. You know, he's staying sort of right in the middle, maybe just driving 9/10. It's good enough for a P4 right now. But if you're going to want to make a move, it's going to have to find a different level.
I think Schwartz is really prone to getting undercutted right now.
There are Schwartz.
He dives in.
So with Schwartz pitting, that will compromise Kectovic and Velasquez, but that will also release them. Pat Cockcroft making a move on the outside, coming out of the boot. It's two Porsches, Porsche on Porsche battle going in the penultimate corner. Funk will have the outside as Cockcroft will secede the position.
Makes it look so easy there, despite this damage.
Yeah, that'll move him up to P12. So recovery drive still on for Funk, as he's been able to, probably about the only one able to make moves.
Was looking up the inside of Kectovic as he just misses out. I think without the Mustang to provide tow for the Porsche is just so vulnerable to the McLaren.
Gosh, don't I know it. That was my hell last night as I was facing, I think it was Colin Dunham in the McLaren. And the Porsche, you're just a sit duck going into the bus stop. As long as you can keep the car underneath it, you can put up a defense going through it. But, you know, all it takes is one bad exit out of turn one, because that exit will carry all the speed you want through the S's. And with that, Velasquez will fall back in line of Kectovic. So Schwartz is out of the pits. Yeah, right?
Yeah. He comes out in front of Byron. Just right outside, right in front of Byron.
Yep, so that's the leader of the pitters now. Obviously, pitting from P3, he's going to have an advantage in that aspect. But now with the clear track ahead of him, no one behind him, pressured him, he's just able to pump in some laps. This is the benefit of the undercut strategy here. Get some clear track and able to just run your own race. Hopefully, that pace is good enough to keep you out ahead. It was good enough for 3 or 4 positions for me last night. But, you know, their mileage may vary.
Yeah, these guys still haven't pitted. They're still going the long game, but those guys are still trying to make the move. And I think this will just slow them down enough for Schwartz to actually make the undercut work. As them battling just isn't ideal if you're in a 3-way battle for podium.
Surely not. You see some more pitters at Sweeney and Curtis Lee coming into the pits.
But if I'm Velasquez, I am going to try forcing past the Porsche right now. Now is the opportunity. Now is the Porsche just vulnerable without any tow to boost the straight line speed. If I were him, I would just try my best to get past him.
As you have a bit of time here, I want to shout out the people in the stream. Thanks for tuning in tonight. As we think we see Cranston there, who had that unfortunate accident going into the bus stop. He called it quits, but he just says, yeah, having a rough night here at Watkins. That might be Colton there lamenting the fact that he had an unfortunate night drive too, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You know, the highs of the highs, you know, and the lows of the lows. That can all happen.
Oh, Kashevik opened up a whole second on Velasquez here.
Finding all sorts of time. Velasquez will take the cue and drop into the pits. As he gets close to the outer limits of that pit line, you want to stay 4 tires inside that yellow line, so that'll be something to watch out for as other drivers make their way into the pits for both pit entry and pit exit. So
Such an easy pit lane to get wrong.
yeah, there's
There's
no barrier, there's no real markers.
There's also 2 lines for braking, and sometimes you just forget which line is the actual line. I think it's the second line, if I remember. But yeah, I've gotten that wrong so many times. As Chris Logan is actually, he was able to keep up with the Mustang, which was quite interesting.
Battle of the big booty cars here as the Mustang's able to cut a hole in the air for the Bimmer behind him. Got up to 269 on the backstretch. That is cooking. Obviously had the tow to help him, but yeah, within a couple of tenths of the Mustang in front of him. He's looking to get a move here done before he drop into the pits. So want to watch where shorts
Got a
come.
drive through.
No, Velasquez stop go 30. It's not all over yet, actually, for Funk. This is exactly what he needed for his championship hopes. Velasquez, we saw him come into the pits. It didn't look like he was fast. This has to be a speeding during the pit stop, maybe on the exit or something, but just like that, he goes from leading the current strategy to actually not shorts ahead of him, so he's second with the current strategy of the pitters, but he'll have to go and serve that. It'll be interesting to see where Funk falls into this, but with that 60-point gap, I think Funk is in a pretty decent spot now. Hopefully, as we saw, that was Rigatoni coming into the pits. That'll release Logan, the BMW, so he'll have one more lap to set some hot laps here before he gets his service done. Funk still staying out. Maybe just keeping track of Velasquez there and his leaderboard, seeing the stop go 30 pop up. He will be unfortunately cheering for his demise as the closest challenger to the championship here. But that will set him up pretty well, as the Porsches, the Sith Lord's Porsches now are running P3 and P8. So they surely have the team championship fully wrapped up now. And with that unfortunate stop go 30 from Velasquez, that should mean Funk will get the drivers championship too. Too early to really call. Still 30 minutes left to go, but
Funk still hasn't pitted yet, so I wonder if he's actually saw Velasquez penalty and thought to himself, you know what, I'll take it easy.
yeah. Now he's done all the work he needed to do in making the positions. Got a bit lucky with the unfortunate situation with Velasquez, and now it's just a matter of keeping it clean and bringing it home. Velasquez does come into the pits. We'll serve that stop go 30. But there is only 23 drivers remaining, so it's not like it's all for naught. It's still a decent haul of points if you're able to finish up the race here tonight. Suave will pit from the lead. You know, he's been out in the lead. He had like a 3-second gap coming in the pits, so he's just sort of off on his own island now as he comes to get his service done a bit early, but right at that 31-minute mark.
It's been a quiet race for Suave after he, well, I'd say he took the lead out the first corner. He actually took the lead even as soon as the lights went green. He was actually ahead of Marvin as the flag went green. Escu is actually
come out the pits, so didn't lose too much time, honestly. He's still P15 overall, fighting some of these other drivers we saw have some unfortunate troubles. As Maxwell will dive to the inside of the S's. That was a bold move from the Porsche. Had the overspeed on the Ferrari, who was a bit compromised going into the exit, or going into the S's. Maxwell will get that move done.
Yeah, Maxwell has some of the most... he's probably the most entertaining driver to watch the whole season.
I gotta say, he's putting on a show.
Overtakes.
see some more action coming out the pits. That's Suave and Byron. So Byron has not got his pits service done. Suave will keep the position going through the S's, and that will net Nico Suave P7 currently, but crucially well ahead of, I would think that would be Schwartz, who's second place now of the pitters.
It's yeah, Schwartz has already pitted, and I think the only person who is ahead of Schwartz who hasn't pitted yet is Jack Sullivan, who still we only reached the halfway point of the race. As you see Jack Sullivan come in perfectly as you go to the 30-minute mark.
Yep, pitting right at the halfway mark. That'll mean Kamal Kectovic will inherit the lead of the race, staying out a bit longer. We'll grab that lead lap. No extra point here. It's not NASCAR, even though it's a NASCAR track. But
I mean, the whole track is a NASCAR track. If you think about it.
Certainly feels like it sometimes.
You're only racing in the parts marked with the white line.
Certainly. A lot of pitters.
I wonder if anyone's taking a NASCAR line to some of these corners, which with these rules would give you a drive-through.
Certainly. NASCAR line, obviously, you'd keep turning right there to make your way on and cut out the boot entirely. Hopefully no one takes that line throughout the races. That would mean a abrupt meeting with the outside wall.
Well, funny enough, I actually tried that when the track came out in the Aston Martin, and I actually managed to completely destroy the engine.
Oh no, that'll do it.
So, as Jack Sullivan actually crashes as he comes out of the pits.
No, he was gonna come out right ahead of oh gosh, who was that? I think that was Laz in the Mustang, but gets just a bit loose on exit. Unprecedented events there. He has a clean race all the way up until pit exit. A simple mistake will give him a ton of damage. Won't lose too much. Yeah, won't lose too much time. Oh no!
I think he just calls it. Wait, what?
What a move.
His car is stuck.
He speared himself into the wall. Well, that was wild. Sullivan opting to, after that unfortunate event of pit exit, was still on for a decent result, but not wanting to drive around with a ton of damage, just goes ahead and spears it into the impenetrable plastic barriers.
Yeah.
Interesting move there.
Fortunate for him, he wasn't in any champion battle, but he did miss out on a chance to get a podium place there.
Yeah, it would have been a nice little consolation prize. He's P14 currently in the points. Not really in a battle too close. Laz and DJ Watts ahead of him, so he missed a few races, and yeah, at the end of the season here, decides to end it off with a bang, quite literally.
You see a NASCAR actually come into the pits as our current leader of the race, Kamal Kectovic. I think he'll come out in P3 if I remember. Now Sullivan's gone.
Yeah, he would probably inherit P3. Actually, Kectovic is still... Oh, there he goes. He's finally rolling, but an awfully slow pit stop, I think. I think that, but actually, it's about right on cue. 37 seconds versus the 32-second time stopped optimum, so a bit slow. I guess staying out extra was not the preferred strategy as he now comes out. He was going to be on for P3. He will come out in front of the Ferrari. I think that's a lap down. Behind. Yeah, it's a lap down Ferrari. So that'll be low gain in the BMW behind him. So we'll net out P5 overall. But we'll have fresher tires, so can put the fight up to the drivers ahead of him in Pantera Gattoni and Laz there in the Mustangs. But there we have it, a Mustang 1 through 4.
So it actually came out behind both Rigatoni and Laz with a slow stop.
Unfortunate for him, really.
Lost 2 positions.
Yeah, I was doing well to sort of, get a decent result here showing. Tell you what, though, Schwartz having an almighty race here. He's P2 now. We're still at the fastest lap. And can still see the leader ahead of him. Yeah, that'll be good. He's just about 6 seconds behind Suave now, so probably not on battle for P1 overall, but he is the silver driver. So just by him being in P2, it's a pretty good showing for him. Low gain is all at the back of Kitsjovic there, as those fresher tires of the Porsche have still yet to warm up.
Yeah, what's important now is that Kitsjovic has the tire advantage. He has the younger tires. I wonder how early Logan entered the pits but is 5 minutes enough of tire advantage?
I wouldn't think so, but we'll find out towards the end here as when the tires actually do start to fall off. Logan is all at the back of him, though. Porsche will go pretty much the normal racing line. That'll give Logan the inside going into the bus stop. He'll get that move done pretty easily. That's a clinical move. Textbook from the BMW. Well, I'll move him up to P5. Currently, our biggest mover is a tie between Moffitt, Pat Cockcroft, Guzman, and Ian Byron there, all up 10 positions. Some of them capitalizing on some of the misfortune of the front runners in Funk and Velasquez and Colton, but still up 10 positions through Watkins Glen race here. That's not bad.
And Funk is in the top 10 again. He's flying back the points right now.
Yeah, did not fix any of that damage when he came into the pits. So the recovery drive is still on, as he's just about 3 seconds behind Andrew there in the McLaren. He's been gaining, so it's not over yet. We'll note Velasquez there now has the fastest lap. That'll be good for an extra point, as it won't mean too much for the overall championship. It will be a bit of a hollow victory if he's able to keep it. Saw a caution for a little bit. That's P40 or number 42. Let's see what happened. Oh, going into the bus stop, gets all out of shape. Actually ends up backwards on the outside of the bus stop, but manages to keep it out the wall and out of the way of any oncoming traffic, and he'll get back going. So no harm, no foul. Just lost a few positions there.
Just casually faces the wrong way.
Yeah. Guzman's all up the back and Cockcroft ahead of him. The Mustang got the power, and Cockcroft was a bit shaky on the exit there. I think that's the earliest I've ever seen a move done on the backstretch. I'll count the S's as part of the backstretch. It's flat out for these cars. Guzman's just going to rocket off ahead of him now. Pat Cockcroft can't do much about that.
Just makes it look so easy to be a Mustang. And just look at how much he's monstering the curbs. It's kind of insane.
Must be nice. That's all I gotta say. Must be nice.
Oh, as he runs super wide.
Oh, is that right? Oh, let me go back to it. Gotta find up. That was Guzman. I manages to keep it going.
He was on the grass, but in some cars, the grass just absolutely turns your car upside down.
Yeah, there's no grip out there.
But I think the Mustang is just a brick, and nothing can shake it.
Nothing's moving it. We saw Logan get the move done on Kitsjovic, but not to be outdone. Kamal is still right behind him.
Yeah, I think he's got his tires fired up, and he's now on the bumper of the BMW.
Logan will go slightly defensive there.
I would probably take steering at the rear end of a BMW instead of the front end. In the rear mirrors, as Logan just gets out of shape at the exit.
Gosh, these drivers are on the limit.
I don't know if that's enough, but Funk is right on the bumper. I wonder if he's gonna try to sneak up the inside.
Logan's gonna just dip into the marbles. Not much space around there to get a move done.
Just look at it, Porsche just slide as he goes over the curb there.
It's its natural state around here, is just sideways.
Maybe that's the Porsche. It's always been the Porsche.
For sure.
Is this the kind of the only battle we have going on here, or
there's a few more still kind of popping off towards the back end of the grid as Yaron is right up the back of Maxwell in the Porsche.
We have we have a fight between the Bentley teammates. We have fighting between DJ Watts and Mark Recton.
Oh yeah, the Mustang is right behind the Bentley there.
Recton being Nico Suave's teammate in this race. Not to be outdone with his teammate, Recton's also trying to move up the field.
Yeah, he's not really close enough to make the move here, as he will stay in the draft behind the big old Bentley. Bentley gets a bit wide, actually, a bit on the grass there. Doesn't slow him down too much, though. Just seeing the different lines being taken from the Bentley and the Mustang just able to soak up a lot more of the bumps.
Yeah, both these cars kind of have similar handling characteristics. Quite different cars though, but they kind of drive the same in my opinion. Well, the Bentley being on the right-hand side, the wrong side. the wheels on the wrong side of the car. I'll say the right side, but no, it's right but wrong.
It's the wrong one, yeah. Is that Suave behind? It is. So Suave actually nearing up the back of his teammate there to put him a lap down. That would mean Nico Suave has lapped everyone up to P20. So not too many drivers, I guess, have gotten a lap down, but just putting on a clinic. Nico Suave is up 7 seconds from shorts there and looking like he's got this one in the bag. There's a few more battles kind of brewing up here. Kostjovic still right at the back of Logain. There's a bit of a trade now forming. David Funk is caught up right up the back of Andrew. We saw this brewing up earlier, but Andrew has managed to catch the back of Sweeney in that Ferrari. So it could all sort of pop off here with less than 20 minutes to go.
The damage is not slowing down Funk at all. In fact, he's just going faster with the damage. He's just absolutely flying.
Makes you wonder where he might have been without that first lap incident.
Right now, he's got the championship in the back. He just needs to take it easy.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do anything special. Honestly, it really doesn't even need to go for this move, but we are racers, so it's going to be tough to tell a racer, a competitive one at that, to not go for a move even when one's on.
Funny enough, for David Funk, after Velasquez and Simon Gorial, the driver in fourth place of the Drivers' Championship is his teammate.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
sure enough.
I wonder if there's going to be team orders or if there's just like, obviously, with more than 100 points, I don't think Kostjovic is going to.
What a move from
the Drivers' Champ.
Recton dives at the inside of DJ Watts.
That's not going to be the first green and red Mustang to get past DJ Watts.
I don't think so, as Suave is right behind him now. That battling will compromise them, and yeah, you can see that all unfolding ahead of him. His teammate kind of running away from him now.
That's I would hate to be in the Jurassic Park sandwich. It's definitely not a good idea to be dinosaur.
Scary place to be. Yeah, for sure. Watch out for the Velociraptors, I tell you. Funk still right at the back of Andrew there. Goes a bit wide. That'll be a track cut every day of the week.
Goes sideways there at the Porsche. The Porsche did love to drift.
That might be a bit of that damage coming into play. He will get the toe again. Andrew not able to keep up to Sweeney ahead, as Sweeney will pull about a second gap now. And this is where the McLaren just pulls away from the Porsche. It's a tough place to be, that Porsche, trying to be on the offense. Tell you what, though, actually. Funk managing to not lose much time at all. Actually gaining some time on Andrew there. Going through the bus stop. Well, I think kind of just goes to show its confidence around Watkins Glen that really gives you the pace. Is David Funk able to take every single curb he wants to. Places the car perfectly. And that's where he's able to gain that time even with a bit of the damage. Kicjovic, it says the position's changed hands there for a bit, but Logan is still ahead of Kicjovic. Curious what happened there, but they are real close to each other now. Tuning with Funk, they have gotten real close too. See, is there any move to be done here for Kicjovic? Similar Porsches, both going for moves now.
I still don't know how Kicjovic lost 5 seconds in the pits, but how, most crucially, how the 5 seconds pushed him so far back. Was he on so old tire just compromised his overcut? Or does overcut just backfire massively? Like,
yeah, I think it was more of, I mean, there's a ton of times he made up in the pits, whether it's pit entry or pit exit. So he could have just had a bit slower of a pit entry compared to everyone else. It was still a fine pit stop. It looks like he may have missed his box just by a little bit or had to get picked up because he was about 5 seconds slower. But 5 seconds in the pit says amounted to like 10 seconds on track. Speaking on track, with this on-track battle going down the backstretch, Nick Andrew will pop out of Sweeney while the inside line is Funk will try to take that position from Andrew, who has a compromised entry into the bus stop. They'll both keep the same positions, but that was a bit chaotic. Nick Andrew goes a bit wide through the outer loop. That'll give Funk a window just to sneak up the outside. We'll take a bit of a later apex here to prioritize the exit as Andrew loses some time to Sweeney up ahead. Andrew goes from being on offense, it's now back being the defense with Funk right behind him. Porsche looks planted, putting the power down as he's right at the back of Andrew. There's a move to be done here if he can pop out. He does decide to pop out. He pokes his nose to the inside. They're about to equal on the brakes, though. That'll keep Andrew the position. Funk has a compromised entry. Managed to get it low down in time. Just stays within track limits. That'll give Andrew just a little bit of breathing room there as they go through the final sector.
where Funk has front end damage, and that will compromise his corner entry. It's mostly in the exits, and just at a braking where he makes up the most amount of places. So Funk is just working that car overtime. Just to look at these guys, let alone get past them.
Sweeney dives on the inside. Is he just giving the position up? He is. That is 4 positions. Sweeney opting not to be a part of that battle at all. Interesting move from Sweeney there. Curious to see where he actually is in the championship. Let me look that one up real fast.
I don't think Sweeney is in the championship fight right now.
It doesn't look like it. He's a silver driver. I was curious to see if that played into the decision to give way to these drivers. They caught up to the back of him, so maybe deciding that that wasn't his fight anyways.
In fact, his championship fight might be with for P7 against Curtis Lee and Bill Granson, who earlier
Oh, you're right. There you go. So, yeah, he'd be on for a solid P7, I think, by the end of this, because Guzman there is in P11, so not too much positions to be gained there. But fair enough, I guess. You know, maybe that's part of the reason why we saw no penalties from Coda from D3 last week, just because a lot of respect being showed out here from these drivers. If I'm Funk, I'd kind of be regretting that, though, because with Sweeney ahead of Andrew, that was able to bring Andrew into the grasp of that Porsche, and now a bit released, Andrew is able to pull away a little bit. Kamal still not able to make a move going into turn 1. That'll send him through the S's. Funk using all of the track on the exit of the penultimate corner. He will dive to the inside. He has a bit of overlap He has the position going into it, but there's a bit of contact on the middle of the corner. Sweeney will mind the gap as Sweeney gets loose on the curbs. I think he just taps the wall. He goes.
I don't think he even tapped the wall. I think he just got the car back under control, but he tries to capitalize on that move. But
the big winners, Guzman here, will net himself up 3 positions if he's able to get the move on Funk. Funk compromised through the S's. Guzman will have the overspeed and get the move done going into the bus stop. Funk passes Andrew, but still net P9 after all of that. Guzman goes from P11 to P8. As an opportune move from him, and really well done. Just capitalizing on some disadvantages from the drivers ahead.
Guzman is 50 points behind Andrew in the silver championship for D3. It's not going to be enough to get past him, but that is a good haul of points that you want going into the final race.
For sure. Yeah.
David Funk actually is in P9 right now. Like, even in the whole Cartofo, we actually gained one position overall.
After all of that, Funk still comes out smelling like roses. That's just how kind of his season has been. You know, he had those 2 wins, and then it was a kind of lackluster result there at Suzuka. But other than that, he's been well within the, I guess that would be like top 5 most of the time. His worst finishing was 14th if you don't count the Suzuka drop race. So he's had a decent season, I would say, which obviously is why he's currently the championship leader and has put him on for currently winning the championship.
Didn't he have a bad race at Nürburgring, if I remember? That's the race Simon Goriel absolutely destroyed the field and actually clawed back the championship at.
Yeah, Goriel had that string of wins, 3 in a row. Nürburgring, that was Funk's one of his worst finishes. He was 14th though, so still not a bad result. I would take a 14th around the Nürburgring. I would take a finishing result around the Nürburgring, honestly. But if that's the worst race that actually you get credit for, I would say you did pretty well. Kaczjovic, Funk's teammate, still trying to find a way low gain around him. That tire advantage hasn't really come into play as much as I would think it would have. I thought he would have been able to make a play for Rigatoni and Laz, but he's just kind of got stalled out behind this BMW.
What's kind of sad is that this single track is exposing the Porsche's kryptonite in full effect. The lack of top end speed. The Porsches, they're just getting eaten up by the Mustangs and BMWs, but they cannot get past them despite being just faster just because they don't have the straight line speed. Unless you pull something like David Funk and just absolutely send it into the braking zone, it's just difficult.
Yeah, as the BMW just pulls away through the S's. Kamal can't really do anything about it. Oh, there we go. Kamal, we see him messing up the bus stop a little bit. We'll kind of opt for that escape road, but that is not where you want to be. There's a massive bump there that he manages to ride. Doesn't really affect him too much, but will lose a ton of time to low gain ahead.
That's a scary bounce to get, especially with a car like the Porsche. You can just go upside down. I've not rolled a car on that specific part of the track yet, but let me tell you, it is scary.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've rolled it on other parts of the track, though. Yeah, that's what's awesome.
Gosh, can't even see Funk behind that big Mustang. Still a bit of space, about half a second. Seeing some love from Maxwell there in P15. He had an unfortunate event with Colton there in the bus stop early on, but a decent recovery drive. To Velasquez You know, we saw him with that stop-go 30. He clearly had pace because he was right up the field before that happened. He's been able to carve out, what was it, 6 seconds to Pat Cockcroft ahead of him, and still the fastest lap. Velasquez showing that if all things were equal, he would have had a decent shot at the championship here. Funk, I think, has been able to recover well, so I think he still would have had it regardless, but what could have been for him there. Actually goes a bit wide. Maybe uses one of his speed tokens there in a drive-through, or in a track cut, but that'll be all right.
I think well, the best was he actually come out in P3, and P3 gets you 93 points, and P10 gives you 60 points, which still wouldn't be enough for championship, but it's still worth a shot. I just noticed the point distribution is super linear in SRA. It's not like Formula 1 where it's just the higher you finish, the bigger the point gap is.
Yeah, P1 obviously gets a lot of weight. You know, winning certainly helps. 10-point differential between first and second, but as you get further down the grid, it's pretty much just a 1-point differential as soon as you get out of P20.
David Funk actually gets past Guzman here.
I was looking away a little bit, but way to go.
It just looked like Guzman just lifted to get right in past.
So Guzman kind of got a free position there with all that squabbling going on early on in the race, and now kind of gives one back to Funk. That will give Funk now P8.
All eyes on the championship leader as we're now entering the dying stages of this race. I think we have 3 more laps left, or 2 more laps left.
Yep, just about, probably 3, depends on where the leader comes across the stripe. Last night we saw the leader come across the stripe with 30 seconds left, which kind of messed up some drivers' fuel calculations and caused them to run out of fuel in the last lap. Hoping that doesn't happen here. I don't think so. The fastest lap being a 44.5. Not running quite the pace of the drivers in D1, so they should still be on for I think it's 34 laps. Everyone should have properly accounted for that one. No surprises with that. I think with Funk's pass around Guzman there, that'll put him P8, and I think that's probably where he's going to settle out, barring anything extravagant happening. Funk's recovery drive will pout stall. He's 13 seconds behind Moffitt, so decent recovery from him. P8, that should, with Velasquez and P13, that'll put. Yeah, exactly. He was, at one point in this race, the last place on the racetrack, and to say you had to come back through all of that, some with strategy and some, as we saw, just outright pace, I'd say it's a pretty job well done.
Yeah, I think they're entering the stages of this race where everyone's just trying to bring it home. It's the final few minutes of the final few laps of the final race of the season.
It's a good point too, because Nico Suave, who had I think it was about 9-second lead at one point from Shorts, that lead has dropped all the way down to 5 seconds, just under that. So not sure what happened with him. Doesn't look like he has any damage or something. Maybe just got a bit out of shape. Still keeps the lead, but loses all kinds of times. I don't think that puts Shorts into any competition, as he's still 5 seconds behind, right? But I don't think Shorts can be too mad about this one. P2 overall as a silver driver. Not
That's
bad.
his teammate John Last behind him.
Well, that's right. 2 Tron Mustangs put on a good showing. They're currently P3 in the championship for team championship. The M Sport Mavericks, I believe that is Logain.
Logain and Simon Goriol. They are around 200 points ahead of them.
Oh, they should have that just fine then. Yeah, no worries.
I think they got
there.
that in the bag.
Goriel not racing tonight. Should mean, there's a bit of a deficit there, but with Logain and P5, we'll get a decent haul of points right about 100. So no matter what they do, those Mustangs would still fall behind there. But P3 overall is pretty good.
Give it all you can.
And Nico Suave enters the final lap.
We'll give him some limelight in the cameras. No one else is really in a battle.
So it's two Jurassic Park Mustangs followed by two Tron Mustangs. So I think that's pretty neat. I wonder if Nico Suave is just backing off to get a photo finish with his teammate.
Yeah, as long as you don't count the lap traffic, you know, it on track it still looks like a Mustang top 5 almost.
Yeah, but Schwartz is also just barreling down on his teammates. I don't know if there's actually going for the photo finish, the photo hop.
Yeah, right.
But
Hey, what?
that's a pretty clean race from Nico Suave. He's led from basically green flag, survived the carnage of lap 1, which happened right alongside him, and he's just bringing it home. And also the American flag on an American car on an American track. That's if nothing screams American,
It's a storybook ending.
it is.
That was Andrew getting past Guzman through the S's. I think Guzman once again just kind of backs out, as he does give way to Sweeney too. What's happening with Guzman right now? He's just giving the spots for free, opting not to battle with him at all. Yarn's another closest battle. They'll go into turn 1, so they'll pick that up right after Suave and the rest of the pack falls through the final sector and across the line. Nico Suave will come across the line leading from lap 1 to the last lap. Come across the line P1. His teammate just behind him, lap down, but he will finish off there. Laz and
Laz and Schwartz.
Yeah, that's right. Schwartz, they come across the line.
Schwartz is the D2 is the D3 silver champion for season 11, but all eyes on David Funk. Where is he?
Comes in. He's coming through the last sector now. Manages to bring it all back after an incredibly taxing race. I'm sure he's got to be sweating, but it's all worth it because he comes across the line P8 overall, and it's good enough for the championship.
Here's your D3 championship for season 11. David Funk and his teammates also putting in a great performance as the Sith Lords take the team championship with a decisive lead. But Matt Schwartz is your D3 silver championship after Donovan Colton had, I say an unfortunate start of the race. It was his championship to lose going into this round.
So that will do it. That will wrap up D3 here for season 11. It was a roller coaster of emotions and a truly grueling season. You see these drivers celebrating what was a difficult run to the end through these 8 races. We saw it all, the ups and the downs of GT3 racing here, but these D3 drivers were up for the task as they were able to put on a show week in and week out, with the cream rising to the top with David Funk for gold and his teammate Kamal bringing up the team championship. That's a double championship for David Funk. Excited to be seeing 2 shoeies from him, and then of course Schwartz getting that win in the silver championship. Colton with the unfortunate, yeah, exactly.
Time to put a double drink in there.
You have to. It's his tradition. Everyone make sure to tune into the streams later on. The reveal stream will reveal the track list for the season 12, as well as seeing the celebratory shoeies from the respective winners. I'm curious to see if we can't grab any of our winners tonight.
Laz and Schwartz are in well, time to abduct him.
Perfect.
Should we want to go with Laz first?
Let's bring in Schwartz because he is our silver winner.
There we go.
Let's see. I gotta figure out how to do this. Hey, Michael, this is Landon and Arjun in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I gotcha. How are you?
Good. What I gotta say, congratulations on a job well done. Able to bring it home by the end of the year. Good enough for the D3 Silver Championship. How does that feel?
Oh, it's freaking awesome.
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
first year racing. I mean, that is, yeah, it's
Ladies
crazy.
and gentlemen,
I gotta say, it was pretty tight between you and Colton there, with only three points separating you two. Was there a lot of nerves going into this one? Did you have to put in a lot of practice?
Well, yeah, I was kind of, going into the race, I was really nervous. But then once I looked and all of a sudden he was down the stand. I'm like, wow, what happened? Because I was hoping for some good battles, you know?
Yeah, just an unfortunate turn of events there for Colton. It was shaping up to be quite the battle. As you were well up the grid, Colton making his way up the grid in the first couple of laps. Did you feel pretty confident though coming out of qualifying that you had like a few positions in between you and him that you could still get it? Okay, yeah.
Yep. After qualifying, I was like, okay, I like the car. It feels good. But obviously, anything happens. Your palms get sweaty. You start to get wrecked. So, but yeah, once I was up there, I kind of felt good.
There you go. And P2 overall, this final race, that's got to feel really good. Your best result of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So you're actually catching the leader there at the end. I guess you didn't think you had anything in him, but P2's got to feel pretty good, showing you got some pretty good pace out here for D3.
Oh, it feels amazing. Like I said, it's this was a great year. Yeah, I was talking to my teammate John Laz behind me the whole time, and he was reeling me in. So I was trying to push it, but also not make a mistake. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see your shoe. You got anything planned special for it, or do you want to keep it a secret?
Oh, I haven't. I really wasn't expecting it, so no plans yet. But I got to come up with something.
Got some time, to think about it. I'm excited to see what you can come up with. Congrats! Is this your first championship?
Yes, first year participating in actual races.
There you go.
I qualified last season, but didn't race. So yeah, first time.
Not a bad showing, and I must say, with the pace that you had here tonight. What do you think about moving up to D2? You think you might make that move?
I am totally okay with that. Hanging out in the back of the field, just kind of having some good battles. Totally up for that.
There you go. That's the spirit. That's where all the fun is had in challenging yourself. But obviously you're showing that you're up for the task here this season, and I wouldn't put it past you to put on a good show out here next season when you come back. So congrats again on your wonderful season and your great result here tonight.
Green light, go.
Excited to see how you do your shoey here pretty soon.
Yeah, thanks guys,
Yeah,
and thank you so much for putting on a wonderful stream every week. It's awesome.
Yeah, of course, happy to do it, man. Let's get back to it. Take care. Have a good night.
Yep.
Well done there from Schwartz, our silver winner. Let's see who else we can grab.
Jan Lass and Nico Suave in the chat
That's
for
a good
abducting us.
point. We shall grab Mr. Suave. So I'm curious how he thought that went for him. Hey, Nico. This is Landon and Arjun in the booth. You got us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Tell you what, you put on a clinic out there, just out from the rip, off to the lead, and then with the overall win. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, pretty happy. First win in SRA, so happy to knock that out of the way here.
Got it. Yeah, Mustangs are quick around here, but I think they dominated the top four tonight. But you were out in front of them all by almost 9 seconds at one point. I'm curious to know at the end of that sort of stint there, the hour long, it seemed like you lost a bit of time. We didn't quite catch it. What happened?
Oh, so I was doing some quick math as I was going through the last 10 to 15 laps there, and I thought I was going to be real close on fuel, so I had to turn the engine map down for fuel savings and a lot of lift and coast to try to make sure I didn't go an extra lap there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would have been crushing maybe for your strategy and some others. Smartly done for sure. Don't want to risk it there with the 9-second lead to all have it fall away.
I think I crossed the line with 0.4 liters. So
gosh, yeah, that's close. My word. But a solid result here. Obviously, you said it's your first win, so that's got to feel pretty good. Do you have pace here in D3? Do you think you'll move up to D2 next season?
Yeah, we'll see. I was in D2 last season, so we'll see if I get back. This season, a couple of the guys, Goriel, obviously Rife and everyone else that started off the season in D3 as well were quick as hell. And I was up there in the top 5 consistently all season. I think I was on for potential a couple wins at the beginning of the season and screwed up my pit strategy at Barcelona, and then finished second to Rife at Suzuka, and I've just been hanging around the top 5. But yeah, finally able to get the win, so happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's huge. We saw the 2 Jurassic Park Mustangs come across the line. This good little photo up there.
Oh yeah, shout out to Ryan Garrity for the livery this season. He does phenomenal work, and he's been putting together some fire liveries for us. So big.
I think he also
big props.
made the D1 championship livery, the championship winning car livery as well. So,
yeah, I think he helped out with that. Yeah, he's done some solid work. I think my last 2 or 3 liveries that I've run in SRA, he's done. And yeah, Jurassic Park on a Ford seemed fitting for the Night at the Movies theme this year. So yeah, awesome.
There you go. Well, shout out to him for sure. Loved seeing it out on track, and excited to see what you can do next season. Congrats on this win. It's huge. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. We'll get you back to it. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
And then
I see Kamal Kaszovic and John Laz.
Yep.
Kamal Kaszovic got the team championship, but I don't see his teammate here, who's also the championship winner.
Let's grab Kamal at least, and hopefully that will convince his teammate to hop in. Hey Kamal, this is Landon and Arjun in the booth. I looks like we grabbed you out of something, but congrats on the team championship. Wanted to get your thoughts on that one. It was a pretty good race for you tonight. Pretty clean overall, and that's going into tonight. You and Funk had a really good lead going in the team championship. So a solid season and a solid result here tonight will give you guys the win. It's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it was a tough season. A lot of fast drivers. Luckily the last race went pretty good. Me and Mike avoided that turn 1 incident. So, and then I stayed with the Fords as much as I could, and I had a crappy pit stop, but I'll take P6 at the last race. So
yeah, I'd say.
And, yeah.
Oh, what happened? Did you miss the box or?
Yes, I went over the box, so I lost some time there. Oh. But I knew if I just got at least top 6, it should be good enough to get the championship. So and I was trying to be safe at the same time. Logain was driving really quick as well. So I just really wanted to seal the deal, and it's been really fun. I want to thank the commentators as well. I'm always watching the race after, so
heck yeah,
great job on your end as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks for putting the show.
You guys are always.
I tried.
For sure. Between you and your teammate Funk there tonight, there was always some moves happening. You were pretty much embridled in traffic the entire night. That Porsche, it's fun in the corners, but showing it's got something to be desired there on the straightaways as the Mustangs and BMWs able just to power right through you. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, Logain just zoomed past me. I just let him go at that point. I was like, hey, whatever.
When you saw Funk have that issue in front of you on lap 1, did you think it was all over, or did you knew at that point you had to do what you had to do to make sure you bring this championship home?
We lose him?
Oh, I think we might have lost him. That's okay. Kaval? No? Okay. Well, we'll move him back. Otherwise, it was a really good result from him. I didn't see his teammate David Funk pop in, but those were your team championships. So after 8 rounds of SRA in Division 3, David Funk and Kamal Kaszovic will take home that championship. I'm curious to see if these have updated. No, they haven't yet, but we can see at least after 7 rounds what has happened, and not much of the order had changed for the team championship. So a solid result.
Even the penalties even if you have penalties, you're probably not going to see any huge position changes, especially in the lead. I think the changes, there's a good chance that, not a good chance, I'm pretty certain that whatever position that we saw the leaders of the respective championship finish are probably going to stay there in the championship.
Yeah, for sure. Show you the driver champion one last time, as nothing really changed here except for Shorts and Donovan Colton. Those positions moved around, and Shorts, I think, with his P2 overall, probably jumped definitely Goriel and maybe even Kamal there. So with a solid result here tonight, able to move quite up the field. But David Funk, your overall winner. So that's 2 shoeies from him. Excited to see him, and make sure that you guys all tune in to the livery and schedule reveal and shoey stream later on. I don't think it'll be this month, but next month, whenever that happens, because that's always a fun time to watch. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I know we had some sort of musical chairs throughout the season here for the commentators booth, but it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure putting this on for you all who else tuning in. And I've always enjoyed having a stream available, so happy to do that for D3 here this season. It's been a really good time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to be in the booth and just commentate on these amazing drivers. Every race that I saw was an absolute blast.
Yeah, no joke.
Just with the insane battles in Suzuka, the insane hunting that we saw in Nürburgring, whatever we got in Coda, even Imola. I missed out in Barcelona, but I saw the broadcast for that. That was also an insane race. It's just a great season overall from DC3 guys.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of these guys are going to get moved up to D2. And probably are going to get fresh faces from D4 and 5.
And that's the beauty of SRA. There's a wealth of talent and people here. So always something to watch out for. And obviously we wouldn't be able to put this season and this league on without our sponsors. So huge thank you to all of our SRA sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as the support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And to our affiliates, Track Racer, where you can experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout and support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that I single-handedly can tell you will enhance your chance to win. And enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop, our very own Caleb Yarrington's shop. You upgrade your sim racing experience with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style. Elevate every lap with top tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, of course, a premium esports setup for everyone. Use the affiliate link in our Discord and take your drive to the next level. And Castle Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beast, and Fairy World collectibles, magic wads, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, and cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldrons is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle and Cauldron today. Without those people, we wouldn't have been able to put this on. And of course, our admins, all of the staff and team that make sure this runs as smooth as possible. And Arjun and the whole cast of commentators we had in the booth this season, Steph and J.E. May and Alexa Marshall. Yeah, we had a whole cast and crew that put this stream on, and all the other ones.
And I'm Byron, who helped out at Dakota last week.
There we go. Everyone gets on it. Yeah, of course, thanks to all of them. Couldn't have done this without any of them. And be sure to tune in next season, where we'll do this all again for season 12. But for now, goodbye. We'll see you later.